If you're like me and you love watching birds, you've probably spent a lot of time thinking about one thing: food. You know, fancy feeders, all the different kinds of seeds. But what if I told you the real secret to a yard just teeming with wildlife was way, way simpler? Well, turns out it is. And listen, that is not an exaggeration. Getting your head around this one simple truth can completely change how you attract birds. Honestly, it's a strategy that's often way more powerful than even the most expensive bird feeder you can buy. So, stick around for the next few minutes. We're going to dive into exactly why water is so critical, the absolute best ways to offer it, and how you can use all this to create a true sanctuary for birds right outside your own window.
Okay, so let's just bust a huge myth right out of the gate. We all think that attracting birds is all about the food, but the reality? A clean, reliable source of water is the single most effective magnet you can have, period. So why is that? What makes water the ultimate draw? Well, it all comes down to basic, everyday survival. For a bird, water isn't just a drink, it's a total lifeline. Sure, they need it every day to stay hydrated, but bathing is just as important. It's how they get parasites and grime out of their feathers, and that's essential for insulation against heat and cold. And for a bird on a long migration, dehydration is a much bigger, much more immediate threat than hunger. A reliable water source can literally be a lifesaver. And here's a wild little fact about bird biology. Because their bones are hollow and super lightweight, birds are incredibly buoyant. They're kind of like little corks. This means they can't just paddle around in deep water. They'd risk floating and losing control. And that is precisely why they're always on the lookout for shallow, safe places to take a bath.
Okay, so we know they need shallow water. That brings us to the fun part, finding your perfect bird bath. Let's look at a little style guide that works for any yard.
And here's the best part. You've got so many options, and they do not have to be expensive. The classic pedestal baths are great, for sure, but a simple saucer on the ground can be just as good. It's like a natural puddle that birds like robins just love. And if you really want to upgrade, adding things like a dripper for motion or a heater in the winter can make your yard the most popular spot in the whole neighborhood. But no matter which style you pick, I want you to remember the 2-inch rule. This is the key. Birds need those shallow, sloping sides so they can just walk right in. 1 to 2 inches of water, that is the absolute sweet spot. Oh, and adding a few stones is a brilliant trick to give them perching spots in different depths. It's all about making them feel safe. Now that you've got the perfect bath, where on earth do you put it? Because, let me tell you, placement can totally make or break your success. Here is your magic number, 6 to 10 feet. You want to place your bird bath about that far from any shrubs or trees. See, this gives birds a quick escape route if they get spooked, but it's far enough away that a predator can't launch a surprise attack from a hiding spot. It's that perfect balance of safety and security. So when you're scouting for that perfect spot, just run through this little checklist in your head. Is there an escape route nearby? Check. Can I find a spot with a little shade to keep the water cool and cut down on algae? Check. And finally, is it away from where the kids play or the dog runs around? Check. A little peace and quiet goes a long, long way. All right, you ready for the pro tip? The thing that's going to take your bird bath from good to absolutely amazing? Motion. The sight and sound of moving water is like a giant neon sign for birds flying overhead. They just can't resist it. And you've generally got 2 ways to do this. On one hand, you have drippers. They create this gentle, subtle sound that's fantastic for attracting the smaller, more timid birds. On the other hand, you have fountains, which are, well, they're more dramatic. The splashing can be seen and heard from way farther away, acting like a huge beacon. Honestly, both are incredibly effective. Providing water is fantastic, but it comes with one really important responsibility: keeping it clean. And this isn't just about it looking nice. It's absolutely critical for the bird's health. But don't worry, it's so easy to do. Just get into this simple routine. Every day or two, especially when it's hot in the summer, just dump out the old water, give the bowl a quick scrub with a brush to get rid of any gunk, and refill it. That's it. We're talking less than a minute. Okay, now for a critical safety tip. Please never ever add soap, bleach, or any other chemicals to the water. You have to remember they drink this water, they bathe in it. All they need is fresh, clean water right from your tap. Nothing else. By being consistent, you're creating a reliable haven all year long. In the spring and summer, you're helping out those hard-working nesting parents. In the fall, you're supporting migrants on their epic journeys. And in the winter, a heated bird bath can be the single most important resource in the entire neighborhood when everything else is frozen solid.
So, you see, a bird bath isn't just some object you put in your yard. It's really the centerpiece of a living, breathing ecosystem that you can create yourself.
And you can really boost its power by adding other things. Plant some native flowers for food and cover. Put your feeders nearby so it's a one-stop shop. And of course, maybe the most important thing you can do to protect those vulnerable bathing birds is to keep cats indoors. I mean, just listen to this quote from our source material. It says everything. Water has the power to draw in birds you would never, ever expect to see. It connects you to that wilder world in a way nothing else really can. What this all boils down to is pretty simple. You don't need to spend a bunch of money or have a giant yard. A simple dish, just kept shallow and clean, is the single most powerful tool you've got. It's something that absolutely everyone can do.
And if you still need convincing, just look at the numbers. They really tell the story, don't they? When you compare the raw attraction power, a source of clean water just blows feeders out of the water. It's not even close. That is the real secret to a vibrant backyard.
You know, the simple act of providing water, it just opens up a whole new world of observation and connection, right there in your own yard. Your oasis is waiting to be created. The only question left is, what incredible things are you going to discover when you just add water?